Hi everyone, my name is Charlie and I'm pretty sure that Saturday is when they allow all of the crazies out onto the road. So let's talk about the traffic. Well, not even the traffic really. The cars, the drivers, those people what decide they're going to go round on the roads with no idea what they're flaming doing. Let's talk about them. So we are talking about our first roundabout onto the dual carriageway again. There's a little white vehicle next to me. I'm pretty sure it's like a Fiat 500. Nice little runaround, really. And it's in the right-hand lane. Fine, you know, you think people are going to overtake you if they're in the right-hand lane? No. However, we're going into a dual carriageway. Bitch better know I'm getting my speed up. Like, I'm not like this person in this Fiat 500. I'm not about to enter a roundabout going nearly 30 miles an hour. I'm not about that life. That ain't me. Second gear in it, and then I'm getting onto the dual carriageway. Right. So anyway, I'm getting my speed up. I'm going about 60 miles an hour down the dual carriageway. And this little Fiat 500, which is that worried I'm going to overtake it, decides rather than just wait and go behind me now, because they're slow, they're going to just pull right in front of me, which then gives me no option but for me to pull into the right-hand lane and then overtake them. They were stupid. They were stupid. I never saw them again on that dual carriageway. I don't know what sort of speeds they were doing. I don't know when they were coming off it. I don't know how old they were, which, yes, is actually a very credible thing to discuss when we're talking about driving, because some older drivers really ought not to be on the road. That's not me discriminating. Some younger drivers ought not to be on the road as well. However, some of these older drivers have a tendency to flout the law, as it were. Just as much as younger drivers. Just saying. Next point. BMW. BMW pulls into the road in front of me. I've come off the dual carriageway at this point, come through all my roundabouts going alright speed. And I don't understand it. A BMW to me is a car that someone's always going to race around in, you know, similar to a Mercedes or a Jaguar or one of those other things beginning with a P. And Lord, this person went 10 miles below the speed limit all the way here. Well, all the way until I came off the roundabout. It was a bit of a scary situation, really, because it seemed... I don't know whether the driver was drunk, which, as we have to remember, my mother always warned us against. But they would brake for the smallest of possible hazards. And, I mean, anything... Maybe he, saw a leaf falling. I have no idea. But it was very... I'm going to say abrupt braking. It meant a lot of, being extra cautious. Now, I know we're supposed to be cautious when we're driving. I am. But this was one of those where you've kind of got to go into your heightened spider sense type thing. Spidey sense? I don't know. I was never a fan of Spider-Man. Anyway, that was our traffic report for the morning. Hello, everybody. How are you doing? It's been a while since I recorded. Was it? It was sometime last week. Anyway, I've read some books since last we spoke. I went... Margaret Holbrook, friend of mine, writer. I've been to 3 of her events in 3 weeks. Last week was an open mic. This week was the opportunity for me to get... well, it wasn't just for me. It was for loads of different writers, 4 of us to be exact, to come together and to share plays that we had written. So I shared the second episode of my charity shop radio play, something that we also did the first episode of back in May. I'm not sure whether we will be doing all of the episodes. I don't want to kind of monopolise Margaret's events, and I think that she will have enough writers for the next one, so yes. And then, have I been writing any other children's book? I did actually go back and rework a chapter again, because I realised that whilst I do want to rewrite the book, there are still things in that first draft that are okay. And so I was working on what is now chapter 5 of the children's book, and there was stuff from the previous version of this chapter that I thought should be kept, because I think that although I want to kind of simplify some of the things within this story by separating all of these, I separated all of these things that had to happen in a chapter and was just shoving them, well, not shoving, that sounds like I'm just forcing it, but I was reworking it to simplify it. And so if I felt like too much was happening in a chapter, I'd push it into a later chapter. But I was reaching a point where I was like, you're very far into this book now at this point, and you still haven't talked about any of these things, which was my worry with the first draft anyway. And that's why I went back and I worked on this 5th chapter, which was the previous 4th chapter. And then that's going to help me going into working on the 6th. Naturally, everybody needs to have these things in place for a book to actually be cohesive. Unless I wanted to be very experimental and just do the start and the end and say, make your own adventure. That's not going to happen. I know this story. But I can't remember whether I told you this. Last Wednesday, which was the 3rd of October, I was a bit busy and I started watching a film. I was that busy that I didn't get back round to watching it until Tuesday, this week, and still only got another 10 minutes in, so I'm 20 minutes into a 2-hour film. Why? I don't know why I'm not working on my time management as well as I was, but I don't know that I have good time management skills ever. I think I've mentioned this in previous videos, I've mentioned it in videos about not working, but my focus is either reading or writing, and other things get pushed to the wayside. So I've not listened to The Archers in about 3 weeks, although I do know one spoiler about someone. Spoiler, it's The Archers. But usually that's something I'd listen to whilst writing, which just goes to show you how little I've actually been working on stuff. I mean, I have worked on poetry, but it's not my novel. It's not what my main focus is at the moment. I have taken my mum out for breakfast twice, and something made me so incredibly sad this week that I spent £100 on books. Now, I will say that it is made up of money that wasn't really there to begin with. So, my nan still wanted to buy me Christmas books from last Christmas, and we'd never got around to doing that, so a bit of the money there was from that, and then I ended up unexpectedly getting another £40, and also I've not bought books this year, really. That's why we haven't seen many hauls on this channel, and a lot of books have been from the charity shop or from the library, so it's really been a bit sparse in terms of purchasing things. So I can see that really it amounts to maybe about a book a month. It's just that they've all been bought in bulk in October, but it's still, I'm very conscious of the spending of money. It's taken me 26 years, but I'm finally here. And so when it's coming to books, I've been very particular about what I've wanted. So I've known that I was going to be purchasing the 4 books for a while. I just didn't, well, 4 of them, I didn't expect to just go and get them all, but that's what Waterstone's hardback shelf will do for you. And then poetry. I really just wanted some more poetry in my life. I don't know what it was. And I knew what poetry collections I wanted as well. and so I just got them. So you'll probably see them in a haul, maybe, possibly never, I don't know. I'm kind of, just really getting a bit lackadaisical with everything at the moment. I do enjoy that word. And should we mention the secret writing project? Probably. It's still a secret. My friend Lindsay has read it, and she says it's good, and maybe one day I might tell you about it. I say that all the time. Anthony Andrews was asking about it yesterday, and I said I've no idea whether it's a book that I want to bring out, but in my head it's changed my entire ideas in terms of publishing these books. But I can't mention why for a while. Anyway, what have you been up to over the last fortnight? Do feel free to let me know in the comments. Is there any poetry you'd recommend? Any books you'd recommend? Although I'm not in the business of buying books currently. Probably not now until at least the new year. Because I have car insurance to pay soon and an MOT. Luckily I managed to move my tax to May. Quite a simple solution really. Just paid 6 months tax a year ago, and then when it renewed in May, just did it for a year, So that was one expense I didn't have to worry about. Or, bloody hell, my November last year, can you imagine it? I was the stupid person that had his insurance, his tax, and his MOT all in the same month. Lord, I was like 3 inches away from prostitution. Biblical. Anyway, yes, I hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, that is all.